Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope this video finds you all well and in good spirits. Today, we've got some updates on what's going on with the van, why it's broke down, how it's getting fixed. Plus, we have an exciting new addition to the channel. Stick around, stay tuned, and let's see what's going on. Well guys, so here's what happened with the van. I dropped it off last week when I went to work, and they had it all week. They got into it, and what they thought it was isn't what happened. And no big deal. They had a solution for the problem. There's a little bit of a drama there. That what happened was water had run down and condensation. So water from condensation had run down a wire, got onto a connector, rusted pins off of a computer. It was actually the HVAC control computer and not the body management module that I originally thought it was. That's the code that we were getting, but it was the HVAC module that was causing the issue, and it wrecked a little bit of wiring from rust, corrosion. Voila, caused a whole bunch of issues in my van. So originally they went and they looked up the part, and they said there was none to be found. They were all on back order. So we listed the van as, pardon me, we listed the van as down so that I would be one of the first ones to get one of the parts. They did tell me that when this happens, they've seen sometimes, they're not saying that this is what was going to happen to me, that it could sometimes take up to 8 months. Of course, as you understandable, you could see how that might put me in a little bit of a panic, right? Because I like to live in my van as much as possible. I mean, I do have a house for backup, and these are the reasons why I have a house in my van life. So yeah, they said, could be a couple weeks. They have seen it take as long as 8 months. They were just trying to prepare me because they know how much I like my van. So again, credit to Northland Ford and Flin Flon. They stayed right on top of it. Bailey, thank you so much. But she found an alternate part number and managed to source the computer, and it's en route. So yay! It's not going to take 8 months. After my next set of work, it should be back up and running, is the estimated timeline. Because it wasn't what they originally thought. It was not under warranty, which is unfortunate. It's an expensive touch, but what are we going to do? We need the van running. So where does that leave me right now? Well, I don't have a vehicle. As you can tell, I'm sitting in a hotel. I'm actually in Saskatoon. It has always been my plan that by this time, this is year 3 of me owning that van, that I was going to get a second vehicle. So my original plan was, for the channel, I was going to, I had a budget in mind, and I was going to find an older truck. I was going to look for a 4-wheel drive. I didn't really care, either a Dodge or Ford. What I was looking for was a mechanical diesel, and what I mean by that is that the ejection system is not run by a computer. I wanted a mechanical, so that would be, if you're a Ford fan, 7.3 IDI. Those are great motors, manual, like I say, manually injected. There's no computers to run them. It just runs, you hook up a 12-volt battery, turn the starter, and away it goes. And the reason I wanted a manually injected diesel was I wanted to build a retro-styled overland vehicle. So my plan was get a manual diesel so I don't have to deal with any of the computers. So yeah, like I said, I was either going to buy a 7.3 IDI Ford, or I was also going to look for a first generation Cummins, which is a 12 valve. It's a 5.9 liter 12 valve Cummins. Two very good engines. Both these engines, if you do proper maintenance on them, you can get like 1 million miles out of them, right? The other nice thing, I mean, obviously, high mileage engines. The other nice thing is like I say, if there's an EMP, these are the engines. Like, if you know what electromagnetic pulse attack is, it's a side effect from a nuclear bomb going off, wipes out computers. It just and it induces too much current in computer circuits and fries circuit boards. So with these engines, these are going to be the only trucks that are still going to be running after such an attack. So obviously, I mean, I don't necessarily believe that that's going to happen in my lifetime. I don't think I'm going to see that. But, I like the idea of building, like I say, a retro rig, but, kind of a zombie apocalypse rig at the same time, right? Something that's just going to survive through anything. But these trucks in good conditions, and I'm looking for the drivetrain to be in a good condition. Because what I was going to do is take on the channel, I was going to do a build. So I was going to take and, go through the truck, put the axles under it. I wanted axles from a 2005 plus Ford are considered some of the best. They're dirt cheap at a junkyard, blah, 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 blah. And I was going to build out this overland rig on the channel. But the other thing was, while I was doing that, this vehicle was going to serve as a backup to the van to start taking pressure off the kilometers. I'd have to do the math, but in 3 years, I mean, I'm over 200,000 kilometers. I'm averaging like 65,000 K a year. Like, that's a lot. That's 3 to 4 times average use of a vehicle, right? So I wanted a second vehicle to take the pressure kilometer wise off the van and save the van for big trips, like going to Tuktoyaktuk in August. So now that the van was down, it kind of put scare into me because obviously, Ford said that they've seen some electrical issues due to, like, this weather's crazy here in Canada. Like, 1 week we're +5, the next week we're -30, back and forth, right? So lots of vehicles actually coming in with these condensation problems. I'm going to just flat out say, me living in my van did not help that situation. So, now I'm worried. Now I'm worried about the electrical system of my van. So I've scrapped that overland build, and I'm still going to do an overland build, but I'm here in Saskatoon car shopping. I spent all day yesterday. I think I test drove like 6 different vehicles. Ideally, what I was looking for. So anyways, I was looking for a Gladiator 2022. They're considered to be some of the most reliable. I was also looking for, the other vehicle I thought I might use is a Jeep Grand Cherokee Trailhawk. I couldn't find a Jeep Grand Cherokee Trailhawk that I liked. I felt they were the ones that were here in Saskatoon. There's only a couple examples because people don't get rid of them. It's a very luxurious ride vehicle. I really like the Grand Cherokees. The Grand Cherokee Trailhawk is not as capable as the Gladiator Rubicon, make sure I'm saying all my names right, but it's still a very capable off-land vehicle used for overland. But on-road, way more luxurious. I thought they'd be pretty cool. There's only a couple of second-hand versions of them here in Saskatoon or nearby, and I kind of thought they weren't priced. I thought they were expensive. But the other hand is, there isn't a lot of them around them, and that's why they're probably asking a little bit more than I figured. Because I did, like, talking to the one Dodge dealership, they said, yeah, anytime one comes in on trade, it's usually one of the people that work at the Dodge dealership buy it, and they just keep it. It doesn't go to sale for the public. All right. But there was a lot of Gladiator Rubicons. I did, there was some 22s. I did take them out for rides. The problem was, and I just couldn't get my head wrapped around it, was that I started out with my original overland build for my zombie rig was going to be about $20,000 is what I was going to spend to find one of these trucks. So then I thought, okay, no, I need something better because the van's having problems and I have to sort that out. Actually, this summer, we're going to probably pull the dash out of my Ford Transit and we're going to go right through that whole wiring harness and we're going to look for corrosion everywhere. And where I can, I'm going to waterproof it. There's things you can do. And stick around. Here's a good time for me to promote the channel. Hit subscribe. hit subscribe, helps out the channel, but also when I go and do this and pull my dash out and start looking through all the computers, you can tag along and see how I'm doing it. For those of you that don't know, I'm a heavy duty mechanic, so that doesn't mean I'm specialized necessarily in as specialized as an automotive mechanic for that job, but we're going to get through it. So while that's down, okay, need a more reliable vehicle. I upped the budget to around $30,000. And then the 22 Gladiators are actually being priced closer to, say, $45,000, $48,000. And like I say, the 22s were considered a better model than the 2020s, which are the other examples that are available. 2020 is the first year they came out. And if those of you don't know, the Jeep the Jeep Gladiators, when they first came out, had well, they call it the death wobble. So what it is at high speed, because of a solid axle and the 4x4 suspension, and they attribute it to the fact that Gladiators came originally with an aluminum steering box, that you would get this vibration. It was like an old farm truck. You'd have to keep it in between the lines. And definitely some of the examples I test drove had that issue. In the 2020s, they upgraded the steering dampener, which is basically just a shock that goes on the steering arm that dampens that forces that try to push your wheels, if I'm making sense. And then they warranty that for, it's something like 9 years. You can go back and get these shocks replaced if they fail, because of a class action lawsuit. So I tried to stay away from those years. But in the end, I did go and test drive. I did test drive a couple 2020s, and they did do that wonder. And I did find one that doesn't have that wonder. And it also happened to be dropping in price. They were looking to get rid of it off the lot. So I went and I bought a 2020 Gladiator Rubicon.
Hey guys, I just want to take a quick minute here to give a shout out to Dodge City Auto. That's where I bought the Gladiator from. Brennan there. I'm not going to try and pronounce his last name so I don't bastardize it, but it was an awesome experience and they worked out a deal that is custom suit for me. I highly recommend you give them a try if you're in the city and looking for a Dodge, Jeep, Chrysler product.
I don't know if you guys know on the channel, but me personally, I like gray. Dodge has a crystal granite gray that's awesome. This one is just a slate gray. Just a slate gray. It's just not my favorite version, but I do like that gray for vehicles. So I went and bought a 2020 Gladiator Rubicon.
All right, so there's a little glimpse of the interior. Managed to get her with some leather seats. I like the tan color. Not that we really go for different colors when we're buying a second-hand vehicle, but like I say, some of the off-road features comes with a roll bar, just like the Jeep Wranglers has a roll bar. The tops come off. That's an added bonus. She's got navigation, which that's always cool. Turn that on. And like I say, you can see down here I've got hookups for the auxiliary lights. So when I wire in extra lighting, I can wire it to these buttons, which is an added bonus. Front and rear lockers for my diffs, as well as sway bar disconnect is this one, and then this off-road plus button. So what the off-road plus button does is I think what it's doing is it's derating the engine a little bit, changing the shift points and changing the way the traction control behaves so that you can get through sand and deeper snow better, which is awesome. I like the idea that the Jeep the Jeep Gladiator, I mean same thing as a Wrangler, but the Jeep Gladiator is an off-road purpose-built vehicle. That's what we want. We want to go do some overlanding. I want to get into some bush. I want to get over some rocks if I have to, and I think this is going to do it. Plus, like I say, if the van's not ready by August, I'm going to have a rack put on the back here, and I'm going to put a rooftop tent on. And I got some extras from when I was building the van. Like I'll put a DC to DC charger in here and a lithium battery, probably one of the 300 amp hour batteries out of my van, which for an overlanding setup like this is going to be lots. So I'll put that in here. I'll put a solar panel on the rooftop tent, and yeah, we're gonna build an overland rig and we're gonna do some more camping. We have the van for van life. Got the motorcycle for motorcycle camping. We're gonna have lots to do. Oh yeah, let's not forget I bought a hot rod too. So every once in a while we're going to get some Chasing True North Van Life hot rod edition videos. Anyways, guys, like I say, here's my Jeep Gladiator. 2020 Jeep Gladiator Rubicon edition. It's got about, I think it was 95,000 kilometers on it, so it's nice and broke in and all the problems should be worked out at this point. I'm pretty happy with it. Got a good price on it, I feel, anyway. Good enough that I bought a 2020 instead of a 2022. Didn't want to spend that extra money. All right, guys. Not too much to say about that. Just a quick video this week. Hopefully I get my van back after my next set at work. And we'll be back to some van life videos. I'm going to end up this summer, like I say, we're building the overland rig. Hey, so definitely hit like and subscribe if you want to see any of that. We're going to build up the Jeep Gladiator as an overland rig. We're going to do some design changes in the van. I'm going to put a bulkhead in between the front cab and the back, and we're going to change the layout because of that, just to keep moisture out of the front. I don't want to lose any more electronics. It's quite expensive to fix. But there's going to be lots going on the channel this summer. All right, guys, thanks for sticking around for another video. Stay safe, have fun, and as always, get out there, have yourself an adventure. Life's too short. Life's way too short.